Sports Center. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another great night of Colonial Sports Center here on RMU-TV. My name is Casey01, joined alongside by Nick Evans. Nick, we've got a great show tonight, but what's in store for us?
Well, we had football this past weekend against Merrimack, volleyball, men's soccer and women's soccer both in action, and some hockey games, as well as some good analysis coming up.
Yeah, of course, you mentioned that analysis. That's coming from Josh Woolman. You won't want to miss it. And we, of course, have our forecast at the end of the show that you definitely won't want to miss. But you mentioned that football game at Merrimack. Let's get right into it. The RMU football team was coming off of a bye week and a close loss to the Dayton Flyers 2 weeks ago. The Colonials sat at 1-3 as they traveled to Massachusetts in this game for their last non-conference game before getting to NEC play. Let's get right into it. Now you can see here it was just a poor offensive game for the Colonials. Last year, this matchup ending in an exciting 6-0 win for RMU. You can see the defense just couldn't hold the Warriors back. This year, though, Zach Tanner was injured at quarterback, so Cooper Pantek started for RMU, got a touchdown to Chaz Middleton, but threw 2 picks. RMU just could not stop the run. Merrimack ran 51 times for 223 yards and 2 touchdowns, Nick.
Well, like you mentioned, they got gashed in the run game. RMU did start the game out strong, though. They had a 74-yard run by Owen McGraw to set them up in the red zone. Cooper Pantek found Chaz Middleton in the end zone for a 12-yard score. But from there, it was just all Merrimack. They answered with a field goal, 20-yard passing touchdown. It was all Merrimack after that. And Cooper Pantek finished with 120 passing yards and a touchdown and 2 interceptions that you saw in relief for the injured quarterback. Yeah, they're going forward now. Robert Morris will be 1-4.
Yeah, it's a tough loss for the Colonials, and they'll have their homecoming game coming up, which we will definitely get to later in the show.
Yep, let's move it over to the NEC preview here. RMU and Wagner are the only teams that have not started their conference play yet, and we have Joey Dramasic here to give us his predictions of who will be title contenders and who should start looking to next year. Let's send it over to Joey.
Thank you, Nick. And as Nick mentioned, Wagner and RMU have not started NEC play this season. So let's take a look at the NEC title contention pyramid. And at the top of the list, we have for the championship contenders, we have the Central Connecticut Blue Devils and the Duquesne Dukes. The Blue Devils are ranked second in offensive and defensive efficiency, with the Dukes being ranked number 1 in offensive efficiency. So very strong teams in the top tier. And in the second tier, we have teams in the hunt, the RMU Colonials, the Mercyhurst Lakers, and the Stonehill Skyhawks. The Colonials begin conference play this weekend, so they need to make a good first impression in the NEC this season. And the teams that should just worry about next season, we have St. Francis, Long Island University, and Wagner. All these teams combined have 1 win on the season, so for them, they should just worry about next season and get some of the pieces improved for next season in conference play. And in the bottom tier, we have welcome to the NEC New Haven. And even though they are 3-3 on this season, it's their first year in the NEC, so all their conference games this year do not count towards any conference record. So be sure to take a look out for Central Connecticut and Duquesne at the top of the list this season, with a few of the teams in the middle of the road to be title contenders at the end of the season. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Joey. Robert Morris will be looking to knock off Central Connecticut this upcoming weekend. We all remember that overtime game last year.
Yeah, Joey, a bold prediction up top. The 2 teams in the championship going to the championship again this year.
Big surprise.
So, big surprise there. New Haven at the bottom. Known for cooking up pizza. They won't cook up a championship this year. But let's move it over to the court because volleyball was coming off their first Horizon League loss, and then they returned home to play the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Now, in their 16 matchup against Oakland, dating back to 1999, RMU has only won 3 times. Now, in this series, let's see if the Colonials could grab a win this time. And you can see right here, they just could not. Game 1, it was just a tough loss. The Golden Grizzlies just kind of took it home, even though so far the Golden Grizzlies were 0-14 coming into the season, but get 2 Horizon League wins against the Colonials, and it was just tough going at it. You can see Protocol had 30 digs, trying her best to do it, but the offense just could not get going for the Colonials in that one.
Yeah, in the second game, actually, Robert Morris put up a better fight. It was a 5-set thriller. Robert Morris dropped the first set, but they ended up winning the next two to take a 2-1 set lead before losing the final 2 sets. That'll drop them to 2-3 in the Horizon League and 6-10 overall. But it didn't come without some big milestones. Libero Jasmine Puricol recorded her 500th career dig in the match. Jocelyn Jordan tied her career high with 23 kills and set a new career high with 17 digs to record her 6th double-double of the season. Setter Caitlin Brown also had a career night, recording out a career high 51 assists. They'll play this upcoming weekend for homecoming weekend.
It'll be exciting, Nick. Now, here we go, because coming up after this, it's down to the pitch for soccer. You don't want to miss it. Coming up next here on Colonial Sports Center.
The death of George Floyd, who died in police custody Monday night.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation. It's going to take more than just us, you know, as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to help us make a change, because it just can't be us.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now, as said before the break, here we go down to the pitch. A few soccer games happened this past week from both teams. Nick, lead us off.
Well, we're going to start with women's soccer, who traveled to Kentucky this weekend to take on Northern Kentucky University for women's soccer. After a quiet opening 20 minutes, Northern Kentucky got on the board first. Megan Molnar had her 8th goal of the season, finding the back of the net to make it 1-0. And from then on, it was all Northern Kentucky. In the second half, Emily Dorsching scored for Northern Kentucky, followed by Sofia Kapszakiewicz, who made it 3-0. And then in the 82nd minute, they put the 4th goal on the board to put Robert Morris away and drop the Colonials to 1-2-1 in conference play, 3-6-2 overall. Robert Morris is now 2-6-2 all-time versus Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, Nick, it was just a tough second half, especially early on. Paloma Swankler and Ivy Chaskelson, got a yellow card each early in the second half. That made it tough. RMU, by the way, 0 corners on the match, and the Norse had 9 corner kicks. These teams have now played 7 times since 2015. RMU has not won once, Nick.
Well, when you're losing set pieces like that and not having them, that can be very tough for your team.
Yeah, it was indeed tough for the Colonials team, but now we're going to go on to men's soccer versus IU Indy. The men's soccer team coming off 3 games without a win, including their last loss to Penn State in their most recent game, but they returned to the NAC for Horizon League play. So let's get right into this one. We're going to start off here in the first half. Let me tell you, this is an exciting game you're going to see here. It is down to the wire. This one's lifted over the top. Roy Rahimi, he is dribbling on, and he just misses wide to the left. Roy Rahim, you can see, just missed the header.
Yeah, I mean, goalie was caught off his line, didn't know whether to come out or go back to his net for it. Missed opportunity there for the Colonials. Yeah,
Jaguars keeper Mau Mau was just caught off guard but couldn't be put away. Now we go later into the first half here. It's going to be Jack Bajorno. He's going to get the ball. He's going to do a quick 1-2 step over, fires it in, and it goes off of the keeper and into the net for a goal. The Colonials take the lead. It was regarded as a goal for Bajorno, but it was a great move by him as well.
Yeah, that move really froze up the defender, was able to let him get to the end line and knock it across. Hope it goes off someone and gets in there.
Now, later in the first half here, it's going to be a throw-in. This shot is rifled, and Josh Lane gets the big paw up from a Jose Herrera volley. Let me tell you, if you know anything about reaction time, that was impressive. Now we're going to go into the second half here. And IU Indy looking to tie the match up. It's bouncing around. They're trying to get some form of build-up play, but what you're going to see happens here, they're going to fire it into the box, trying to get a pass off, and it's go right up and into the hand of Victor Thompson Jr., and the penalty is awarded for IU Indy.
Yeah, that's a very, very frustrating moment for Robert Morris, who's holding defensively. And Blaine's a good keeper. They trust him.
Yeah, but he could not get his hands on that one. I'm not sure anyone in the world could, because Jose Herrera just put that one, as they call it, top bins, Nick.
Yeah, beautiful finish. That's right where no one can get to it.
Yeah, put in Courtois. He ain't getting that one either. Now we're going to go deeper into this second half here. It's a tough matchup here. Victor Koa lost it, then gets it back. He gains some confidence, dribbles past a couple players, gets it over to Victor Thompson, who committed the penalty, but rifles a pass right through curls, and that one is good. Kosiude with the goal right there to put RMU up one late in the match. What an effort by all the players all around.
You give a hungry striker a position like that right in front of the goal, you know he's going to take it every day. That's just a poor mistake by Indy's defense.
Let's send it over to Coach Jonathan Potter here after the game in this one.
Yeah, he's just so excited to get 3 points in the Horizon League. I mean, it's so hard to win in our league. Every game is so tight. It just feels like every game's 50-50, just a coin flip. So to win a game in the league, we're just delighted. We need to get back to keeping clean sheets, and I think we're so dangerous in set pieces. But to get more consistent goals, game to game in that area would be great. But however it comes, you got to enjoy it. So we're just happy to get the win.
An exciting home win right there for the Colonials. They'll play their next game this Saturday at home against Cleveland State.
Yeah, it was a great win. I think I want to see a breakdown of that. I want to see what went into this win. I think we should send it over to Josh Woodman for his analysis of this team.
That sounds like a great idea.
Thanks, guys. So like we have talked about a lot this season, the RMU men's soccer team is off to a great start following their win of the Horizon League last year. But new season comes new changes, not only in personnel, but in systems. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. Let's get into the lineup from last year. This is in the Horizon League final against Oakland last year. As you can see, some notable names that aren't here anymore. Kai McLaughlin, Chase Gilly, John Paul Mbuthia, Gabe Norris, Barceau, Bramer. Those are all kind of guys who were big impact players, obviously playing in the final, but now they're not here anymore. Also, some of the subs, those still stayed the same. You lose a little bit out of Tim Koslap, but Kyler Miller is still here, Kosiude still here. Impact players for the Colonials. But not all of them made their way into the starting 11 this season. So let's take a look actually at the starting 11. And the big thing I want to point out right away is this new tandem of sixes. They're called sixes. They're defensive midfielders. What they are now Anas Hadron and Victor Koa taking those places of Barceau and Gabe Norris. You might be wondering, why move Hadron? Hadron is known as the big playmaker. He's known as the guy who helps create the goals, if not scoring them himself. 4 goals, 7 assists last year for the Colonials. But he's actually started off pretty well in this position. The logic behind it is simply he sees, Jonathan Potter, the coach, sees Anas Hadron as being the guy he wants on the ball the most. And so what do you do when you have one of those kind of players? You drop him in a little bit more so he can pick up on that ball. You still have the trust of Victor Thompson and Fabian Overkamp, but you have Hadron who drops in, picks up the ball, and then we get forward, and you see Anas Hadron then floats up a little bit, and that's kind of the evolution of Potter's system. It's still getting Hadron up a little bit. He already has 1 goal and 3 assists, and we'll see. But Victor Koa also is there. And Victor Koa, one of the more trustworthy defenders for the Colonials last year, now he is a guy they're expected to kind of be that holding midfielder, the one that stays back and helps defend while Hadron gets up a little bit. So we have a couple examples of this if we want to show some of these clips here, and it really kind of exemplifies. As you can see, Hadron right there in the red circle, we're going to see him. He's a little bit higher than he usually is as the Colonials are in transition. The defense has the ball right now, but he's going to pick up the ball off one of these floated crosses in, and he's going to get the chance to kind of show right away how he can be that impact player. So right here, gets the ball out here, Jack Brajano gets the ball, and he's going to feed in that run in behind, really showing, again, defensive midfielders don't usually do that. That's something fairly new for a Potter system usually. Gabe Norris would be the guy who sits, and we'll see it here again. Hadron coming back, picking up the ball as he is right there in the red circle again. This is more usual. This is what you expect a little bit more. He's coming in, picking up that ball, and he's going to get it, and it's going to lead to a Colonial goal-scoring opportunity, which they'll capitalize on. They'll get Jack Brajano in a one-on-one situation, which he still wants, Coach Potter, that is, and he's going to obviously score there. But that all comes from Hadron being able to come in, and we see that nice culmination of both him and Koa here, as Hadron will pick up the ball right there. He's going to feed it in. That's what they want him to do. He's going to feed it to Koze Ude. Ude's not going to see what he wants. That's okay. He's going to give it back to Hadron. Hadron's going to get to scan the field. He uses the width, which is very good. Unfortunately, Thompson and Miller aren't able to connect the way they want to. But this is where we see why Victor Koa becomes such a huge, huge part in this system and why they trust him, okay? He's actually going to mess up here by giving the IUND player the line, but he's going to win the ball back here and immediately instinctively goes forward with it. Beats his first man, dishes it off to Thompson. Immediately, Colonials are threatening, and it's again, you put that pressure on, they capitalize off of it. So that is how they get the win against the Jaguars. Again, it's not so much that these players out here are the ones that are the best or the most talented. It's the one Coach Potter trusts the most and can execute. So Hadron is that playmaker guy who's going to be able to get forward but also come back, and Victor Koa is going to be the one who helps out solidifying that defensive mold. That's all I have for you guys now. I'm going to send it back over to Nick and Casey.
Thanks, Josh. Always good to see the soccer guru with his insight about the games.
Yeah, he always looks great on screen, too. I love when he does his
great.
hair. You know, we get to see him every day, and he doesn't usually do his hair often. You know, he looks nice. He looks nice. He should do it more often.
Yep.
And we hope you get to see him more often on screen. But when we come back, what you will be seeing a lot more often on this show is hockey, because it is officially back, and you will see the first couple games right here after this on Colonial Sports Center.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. We were on the soccer field, but it's time for some good old stick and puck. Casey, what was the men's team doing this weekend?
Yeah, it was finally a hockey night in Moon Township. Both teams returned, but first we're going to look at the men's. They had a few exhibitions last week against Bowling Green and Waterloo. Let's see how they did in these ones. And they just took it home. We look at first against Bowling Green, a common opponent, and RMU took it home. And Schenkel in net, 18 saves, a 947 save percentage. Great game in net. 6 players with 1 point. They were really passing the puck around in this one. A great sign to see, beating a familiar face early on this well in the season.
Yeah, spreading around the puck like that, getting multiple point scorers, you got to feel confident in your team. They also took on Waterloo and beat them 6-2. Belho scored 2 goals, and Ranke and McDonald both had a goal and an assist. Men's hockey now will open up the season in Ann Arbor to take on Michigan to start the season. Then they'll head to Notre Dame for a 2-game series. Those are some tough opponents to start the season.
Definitely some tough opponents as well. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, it's really sad they don't get to play Penn State, who has Gavin McKenna, but the women's team will eventually play against Penn State. And Nick, you're going to talk about the women's team right now.
I am. The women's hockey team actually just played Bemidji State this weekend. They traveled to Minnesota, where they sadly lost 3-0. They broke through 7 minutes into the contest when Haley Armstrong opened the scoring. This is Bemidji State breaking through in scoring. Just over 5 minutes later, Morgan Smith doubled their advantage, giving the hosts a 2-0 cushion after one.
Yeah, Nick, going over to game 2, though, RMU found the net. It was senior Morgan Janone who tied the game in the first, but after this, the Bemidji State just took it home. Colonials just could not find an answer in this one, and this loss confirmed the sweep of the series. After last year, RMU swept Bemidji State, so just a big turnaround already from last year. Hopefully it's not anything bad signs of things to coming. I don't think it will be, but it is an interesting point to make. RMU had 3 power plays, only had 1 shot on 2 of them, had 6 on the 1, but still didn't score in any of them.
Yeah, they started out strong in their home series against Assumption. They won those 2 games, but now they're 2-2, and they'll be looking to bounce back this Friday and Saturday against RIT.
Yeah, Nick, but you know what is bouncing back? Just in a little bit. Just coming up right after this. Something's bouncing back on this show. I can hear it boing, boing. What's going on over there? It's come. Top 5 plays is coming up after this, and of course, our new weekend forecast is back as well, so you won't want to miss it here on Colonial Sports Center.
Colonial Sports Center. Let's see women's basketball. Found my heart out there in the open. Trees make you feel smaller. Can't help but get lost again. If I need a break, know where I'm going. Where the water's flowing, I'd rather be floating. If it's something that can count on to be free.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center here, and I hear it. It's coming. It's bouncing. I told you. I hear it. It's almost. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's the ball. And what does this ball say on the back? Can you read? What does that say?
Real Madrid.
You speak Spanish? No, it says top 5 plays. That's what it says.
Oh, I was reading the fine print.
It's that time. It's top 5 plays. Let's get right into it. There's no fine print on this one. It's straight up top 5 plays. We're going to go straight into our number 5 right here. This one is back at the rink. The men's hockey team against Bowling Green. This one's going to fall to Michael Felsen. Gets the wrister in. That one is good, and that's a goal for the Colonials. Their opening goal of the season for the men's hockey team. It just fell to Felsen, and he just rested it right in there to the top of the net.
Yeah, let's move on to number 4. Robert Morris versus Merrimack. Cooper Pantek finds Chad Middleton in the back of the end zone for a 12-yard score. Drops it down perfectly in there. Scans the field, knows his receivers one-on-one, and just sends it up for him. He trusts that guy every day of the week to make that catch.
I would too. He's the best receiver right now for the Colonials. Now on to number 3. We're back to the pitch here against IU Indy men's soccer team. It's going to fall to Jack Bergiano, who's going to do a 1-2 quick step over. Bang, rockets it in. He's going to tell you it was a shot the whole time, not a cross, and it falls in after it bounced off the keeper, Mau for the Jaguars. You can see just lost the defender in his pot of sauce.
Moving over to number 2, let's throw it to the rink. Robert Morris is playing Bowling Green, up 1-0. Defenders moving around with the puck, and Tanner Klimpel strips him and goes between the legs for the finish. RMU's second goal of the game. Goalie's just not getting that one as they celebrate there. That was the second goal of the game, and boy, was it a beauty. He's just showing off there at that point. That's a beautiful, beautiful finish.
We're going to hope he practiced that shot and didn't try to do it just right there. But it worked out. And on to number 1, though. We're back again at the pitch, at the NAC. It is great effort all around on this play. It's late in the game. It's going to be a pass from Victor Thompson. Curls it through the defender on to Kosi Ude, who slides it home under the keeper for the game winner in this one against the IU Indy Jaguars. And what an electric moment for the Colonials, and what an electric finish here for our top 5 plays. Kind of poetic. We had the soccer ball that definitely did not say Real Madrid. Well, it said it in the fine print. Came out here and it knew, because it knew we had soccer at number 1.
Yep, that game winner. Beautiful winner.
Unbelievable winner, you could say. And what else is unbelievable? It's the weekend forecast coming up. There's a lot of exciting games coming up. So to tell you all about it, we sent it over to our weather person, Penelope Shriver.
Thanks, Casey. I'm Penelope Shriver here with your weekend forecast. It's going to be a little bit chilly this weekend, but the Colonials are here to bring the heat. So let's take a look at Friday. On Friday, we have the RMU volleyball team, women's volleyball team, at home against the Indianapolis Jaguars at 6 p.m. And also at home, we have the women's hockey team against the RIT Tigers at 7 p.m. Taking a look at Saturday, we're starting off with the men and women's cross-country team, where they'll be competing at the CMU Invitational. Moving on to the rowing team, where they'll be competing in the Yinzer Cup this weekend in Pittsburgh at 11 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Also, heading into our afternoon, where the Colonials football team will be competing against the Central Connecticut Blue Devils in our homecoming game. It's something you don't want to miss at 2 p.m. And the men's soccer will be hosting the Cleveland State Vikings at 3 p.m. this weekend. And back with the RMU volleyball team, where they'll be closing out their back-to-back series with the Indianapolis Jaguars at 5 p.m. And the women's hockey team right back at it again against the RIT Tigers at 7 p.m. Moving on to Sunday, wrapping up our weekend, we have men's golf heading to Bucknell. We'll be competing, and the women's soccer will be heading out to Purdue Fort Wayne, where they will be competing at 1 p.m. That's all I have for your weekend forecast this week. Make sure to grab your blankets and your pumpkin spice and come support the Colonials. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Penelope. You know, I'm not as big of a fan of the pumpkin spice. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really the matcha guy. Are you the matcha guy? Are you?
No, too performative for me.
Well, what I am a fan of, though, is, of course, this Colonials football team. And that homecoming game against Central Connecticut, who Joey says will be in the championship this year, it's going to be an exciting one. You mentioned it earlier. We all remember that overtime loss last season the Colonials suffered to them. And it really threw off that season for the Colonials. And like you just said right there, revenge. And that could be coming for the Colonials in this homecoming game. It should be a massive game. Lots of fans coming out for that one. It's going to be a good one, Nick.
Yeah, homecoming weekend. You couldn't ask for a better crowd coming out for this game. Very important game, and it's going to be packed. It's going to be loud. I'm very excited for this game. A lot of teams are looking to bounce back this weekend, not just football. I mean, women's hockey is looking to bounce back, women's soccer, and I think this is a pretty good weekend to do it.
Yeah, I'm also excited for that men's soccer game against Cleveland State. We just saw that exciting win. They're going to continue trying to keep that hot streak in conference play. I really think they can do it, and I want to give a quick shout out to golf. You know, hopefully, they can do better than what happened in the Ryder Cup for the USA. You just take the swing. You think you could. What do you drive? What's your?
Let's keep that behind the cameras.
Putt. You're.
I'm a mini golf pro, actually.
Okay, all right. I'll trust your opinion on that one, Nick. Well, it's going to be again an exciting week in Colonial Sports. We want to thank you for joining us here on Colonial Sports Center. My name is Casey Irwine, joined by Nick Evans. We will see you all again next week.